Hello everyone, this is Tengu Ru, and welcome to another Dark Souls 3 boss drawing. After defeating the Abyss Watchers, a path has opened up, leading down into the Catacombs of Carthus. The Sand Kingdom of Carthus was home to many swordsmen and pyromancers, whose thirst for battle led them to conquer many nations. They favored supplemental pyromancy to enhance their curved blades and prowess in the battlefield. Led by their High Lord Wolnir, the warriors of Carthus subjugated most kingdoms known to their people. Bringing conquered lords to their knees, Wolnir ground their crowns to dust and forged a new crown, proclaiming himself the one High Lord. Despite his power, he was consumed by greed and fell to the abyss. It was here that he was gripped by the true fear of the darkness, and pleaded with the gods for the first time. Deep in the abyss, Wolnir clutched tightly to his holy sword and 3 armlets stripped from the corpses of clerics in hopes of finding some semblance of comfort. It is in this state in which we find the High Lord Wolnir, lurking in the darkness and fighting to keep the abyss from consuming him. He is a massive skeleton, still crowned with gold and jewels of the fallen. The glowing armlets on his wrists are all that keeps him from being completely consumed. Wolnir has sentenced countless souls to gruesome deaths, and he clutches to any strand of light, keen to outlive them all. Despite his current predicament, Wolnir still has a few tricks up his armlets. He is able to summon a horde of skeletons to protect him during the fight. They aren't too much trouble though, as he usually ends up finishing them off himself with one of his AoE attacks. His holy sword also covers a lot of ground, but it is slow and predictable, so it shouldn't be too hard to dodge. The focus of the fight against Wolnir will be on destroying his last tether to the world. Focus all your energy on dealing out as much damage as possible to his armlets. There are 3 in total, and every time you destroy one, it staggers him, so with enough damage output, it's possible to end this fight quickly with little retaliation. The biggest threat in this fight will be the abyss itself that is consuming Wolnir. As you destroy his armlets, Wolnir will begin to crawl forward, and if you aren't quick, you too will be consumed. As I'm working on this drawing, you'll notice that I keep coming back and tweaking Wolnir's skull, particularly the values. It is the focal point of the drawing, so I want to make sure that it stands out more than everything else. I'm doing this by giving it a much higher contrast than the rest of the drawing. While the other bone highlights are a light gray, the skull goes from pitch black in the shadows to a near white in the highlights. It's also getting a lot more detail than the rest of the drawing. Since it's the spot your eye will be spending the most time on, I want it to look the best. A lot of artists will use this technique to not just save time, but also to provide some visual contrast. It really helps to sell the important parts of your drawing, and adds a little depth to it. Just make sure you are doing this intentionally, and not because you were too lazy to finish the drawing. Moving on to our build, I thought it would be fun to make a pyromancer. It seemed fitting for the fight. I decided to use the Grave Warden set, which isn't found here, but many of the skeletons you fight are Grave Wardens themselves. The Grave Wardens clothed in these rotting tatters were tasked with disposing of the ever-rising corpses. These scraps of cloth seemed fitting for a pyromancer. With our flame held in the left hand, our right holds the black blade. This katana can be found just below the boss room of Lord Wolnir, after cutting the bridge leading up to it. It was once wielded by the swordsman and distinguished guest of High Lord Wolnir. This swordsman was a master of a rare technique which can be seen by performing a heavy attack. The player holds the end of the blade in their hand over their head before striking, similar to the Berserker blade from Dark Souls 2. The swordsman is likely a reference to the Mad Warrior from Dark Souls 2 as well. I thought it would be fun to throw in a Carthus pyromancy, so having our blade buff with Carthus Flame seemed fitting. When the last armlet is destroyed, the once high Lord Wolnir is finally consumed entirely by the abyss. With another boss defeated, we are left with a new path that opens up before us. But before we press onward, there is another area to explore. By cutting the bridge before the boss room, we are able to climb down to a new area deep below the catacombs. This fiery land will be our next destination, so let me know what gear you would like to see used here. I also tried doing things a little differently with this video, slowing down the drawing a bit and throwing in some tips. Let me know if you like this or would prefer I kept the videos a little shorter with the focus on the lore. I'm more than happy to make the videos either way. Just let me know in the comments and I will do my best to adapt. Once again, thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.